Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. So in our previous discussion, we explored some of the controls of automotive cybersecurity, that is secure onboard communication, secure boot and secure flash. So today we'll be delving into one more essential control, that is IDS, Intrusion Detection System. So Dharmesh and Riva will provide a comprehensive overview starting with the definition of IDS and its significance in automotive cybersecurity. They'll also explain how these IDS is deployed within automotive systems and various types of IDSs, along with the challenges associated with implementing these systems. And we also have Praveen, Falgun, and Ronak with us today for their valuable insights on these topics. So I assure you that today's topic will be incredibly exciting and packed with valuable information. So without further delay, let's begin the discussion.
Let us understand a bit about what exactly is intrusion detection system. So, intrusion detection system is a security mechanism which is designed to detect unauthorized access or attacks in a network or systems. In context of automotive systems, IDS monitors the vehicle's communication network such as controller area network or CAN to identify suspicious activities that could indicate a cyber attack. And after identifying the suspicious activities, it also generates alerts when they are detected. The importance for why exactly the IDS or intrusion detection system is important is to protect against the malicious attack, ensuring the safety and security of the vehicle operations. So now I would like to request Dharmesh to explain a bit more about the detail of implementing the IDS into automotive systems.
So many thanks, Riva, for outlining the ideas. Let's dive into more specific. So the concept of IDS application to the automotive system was first introduced by Hope et al. With focuses on mostly on the CAN bus network. So based on the common attacks which is there on the CAN bus and identified attack vectors, the following locations have been selected for deploying the IDS system on CAN bus network. So here in the image, you can see that most popular places where the IDS can be deployed on the CAN network. So as we know, the CAN network follows a node bus topology where various issues are connected in a series to each other. Now, the one place where CAN IDS will be deployed is, you can see it in figure as A within the CAN bus itself. The other place where the IDS can be deployed is within the issue itself to identify ingoing and outgoing traffics, monitor them, and detects any anomaly there within the issue. The third place where it can be deployed, you can see it is as a C here, which is the issue gateway. So issue gateway's main functionality would be to routing the data and uh, translating into the another protocols. So here you can see this C place where you have different vehicle functions which is connected to CAN, and this will be the junction where it might be that some other issues also sending the data with the different protocol. So mostly gateway issue will convert this one protocol data into another one, uh, which which is where we can also deploy this IDS. So before we explore various IDS detection approaches, it's essential to understand the techniques to attack this CAN network, and then we can go ahead with what all our approaches for the IDS. So before we explore the various IDS detection approaches, it's essential to understand the technique used to attack the CAN network. So generally, most CAN attacks can be categorized into two types: attacks on the CAN packet frequency and attacks on the CAN payload. So to understand more on this, let's take an example. So let's understand this example, how the packet insertion will work or occur in the system. So in this illustration, you can see two issues sending the data on the CAN bus. One issue, issue A, is sending its data with the CAN identification number 0x2A5. The other issue is sending the data with the CAN ID 0x5A2. Since the CAN is broadcast protocol, the frame which has the higher priority gets chance to send the data first. Now in the image, we can see that issue A has the higher priority. So issue A will get first chance to send its data to the target issue via CAN bus. Now let's imagine that there is an intruder or external attacker who sends data with the CAN ID 0x005 to the CAN bus, and since it has the higher priority, it will always get chance on the CAN bus to send the data. So this attack, also known as the denial of service attack, where the attacker flood the network with the higher frequency and higher priority messages. So this is basically the package insertion, how it happens. Let's understand the package erasure with an example. So you can imagine the similar scenarios where we have brake control unit, which is sending the message brakes OK every 1 second to the target issue via the CAN bus. Now the intruder or attacker who reads this CAN bus can identify every 1 second this message is delivered from brake control unit to the target issue. And for certain period, let's say 4 or 5 times, or in between 2 or 3 seconds, he impersonate himself as a body brake control unit and sends like brake disable message, and after that again normal message will be transmitted. So what happens here is, with this disturbance where the original message did not uh, reach to the target issue, it may lead to malfunction of the system, or it may also lead to other parts of the system. So this also will be dangerous situation. So both these attacks, we can say it's the package frequency based attack. Another type of attacks possible is based on the CAN packet payload. So in that also there are two types. One is packet replay attack. So this attack is also similar to denial of service attack. The difference here is the package replay attack will use the historical packets to perform the attack. So in this case, let's imagine the same scenario. You have 02x5, which contains, let's say, issue speed, and you are sending to the target issue, where speed is gradually increasing from 0 to 50 kilometer per hour. So attacker will in between impersonate himself as issue A and sends the message. When actually you reach to 50 kilometer per hour, he is sending speed of 100 kilometer per hour, or some historical data, let's say 40 kilometer per hour, which already the data is same. He read the data and now he's just replaying it onto the network. So this kind of attack is packet replay attack. And the other type of attack is packet payload modification. This is self-explanatory. Like attacker will modify the package whether to minimum or maximum value, and it will send the data to the target issue. So now we understood which way this attack is performed. Let's see what are the different approaches for IDS to detect such kind of attacks. So basically there are three types of IDS. One is anomaly based approach. So where it identifies the deviation from the normal behavior, flagging the anomalies for the first done analysis. So for an example, let's say you have an issue and this issue consumes certain amount of memory when it starts up. So for an example, whenever issue restart, it will consume 10 Mbps as a memory. And now suddenly you observe that after certain time, whenever again issue restarts happen, this memory goes to 100 mbps or 100 mb. So this is not expected, or this is not normal behavior. In that case, this needs to be uh, flagged that such activity happened onto the network or issue, and then it will send back to for further analysis what to do with this kind of activity. So again, how it will be detected? There are two ways. One is machine learning based approach or method, where the machine learning will be used to analyze such huge data and identify the pattern, what's going wrong in the system. The other way is frequency based method, where certain amount of frequency you will perform this analysis and you will identify, okay, whether system is behaving normal operation or is there any anomaly in that. The other type of approach which IDS follows is signature based approach. So here it detects the intrusion by comparing network traffic against the known attack pattern. So here it's not identifying something new, but whatever the vulnerabilities or attack pattern we already identified, based on that, some rules will be set, and these rules will be identified for each message passing through wherever we deploy these IDS. And another model is hybrid based IDS, where it is combining of both these above two approaches for the comprehensive detection. So basically, the commonly used or deployed IDS approach is the anomaly based detection. Uh, okay, so now let's see integration of IDSM module in the AutoSAR. So actually, AutoSAR have released this IDSM Intrusion Detection System Manager specification in year 2020 in November, and after that this will be available to everybody or every tier 1 supplier OEM to implement this. So how this is being implemented, let's look it into more detail. So basically IDSM will get the details of this SEVs. So here SEV is nothing but the security events. So before we understand the security events, there is a term called sensors. So this sensor is nothing but a piece of software code which actually detects the event uh, based on if any anomaly attacks or any events occurred, and that will call the security events, which will be then passed through the IDSM. So IDSM will be configured. So here you can configure the number of events, whatever the system according to your system, you will identify the events and you will configure. So based on this filtering, then some events will be qualified as a security events. So that's why it's a QSE, so qualified security events. And then it will be decided, okay, whether I want to store these events or I want to send it to the backend system where somebody can analyze and perform the action on it. But here main task for IDS is to identify such events and make them as a qualified security events. So as I mentioned, the sensor part. So what are the modules that act as a sensors? So some of the examples here you can see AutoSAR basic software module, BSW will act as a sensor, complex device driver act as a sensor, and application software component acts as a sensor. How this IDSM will interact or at which layer in AutoSAR it uh, resides, we can see it in this diagram where IDSM actually resides in the crypto service module at the same level as crypto service manager. And here you can see the application. So this graph symbol is nothing but act as a sensor. So this sensor could be anything, any module of the application software component or BSW module, let's say DCM or SAC-OC modules. So these are the sensors data it will take, and then it will filter out and identify what is qualified security events. Then this qualified security events, it will be based on the configuration, what to do with this security event. If we decide that this security event will be stored in the memory. Then it will send to the SEM, which is security event memory, in the DEM module, and then it will transfer to the NVM for the permanent non-volatile memory for permanent storage. And later, for the diagnostic purpose, it can be read. The other way, this needs to be sent to some other head unit where you have external connection to the internet, where you send this data for further analysis using machine learning, or you have established the system in backend where this data will be transferred and it will be analyzed. So for that, IDSM will send to the PDR, and PDR will then route to the corresponding module. Here you can also see that it used the CSM. If sometime we decide that, okay, whatever data we are storing for this security relevant events, this needs to be encrypted and stored for the further protection, then you can use the crypto service manager and do the cryptography. So this is basically how the IDSM is integrated in your existing AutoSAR stack or AutoSAR module. So there are also some challenges in order to implement this IDSM, because it's a new concept, and as I mentioned, only AutoSAR come up in 2020 to standardize this intrusion detection system and come up with this module. So there are also some challenges to implementation of IDSM, which will be explained by Riva.
So let us look into a bit of the challenges while implementing the IDS systems. Firstly, let's talk about the limited resources. As we know that every electronic control unit or ECU within a vehicle has constraints on the memory storage, computational power, and data transmission rate, also known as bandwidth. These limitations can make it difficult to implement complex IDS algorithms that require significant processing power and storage capacities. The next we have is the cost implications. Enhancing the security measures through implementation of the IDS can lead to increased cost, both in terms of hardware as well as the software development. Designing, integrating, and maintaining this robust IDS solutions requires significant investment. This can be a considerable challenge, especially for the automotive manufacturers who need to balance security with cost effectiveness in a highly competitive market. Lastly, we have the issue that is the lack of standardization. Currently, there are no universally accepted standards that specify how security events or SEVs should be processed within a vehicle. This lack of standardization creates inconsistency in how IDS are implemented across different manufacturers and models. It also makes it a challenge to develop interoperable solutions that can work seamlessly across various platforms and systems.
I have a question on slide 5. Can you jump to slide 5?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, you explained about placing the ideas on different parts of the topology, right? Point A, point B, and point C. What factors do you consider in placing these ideas? Where do you implement these detection systems?
Okay, that's a good question. So if I may answer, uh, so how these points are chosen or locations are chosen is based on the previous researches which is going on the CAN network, and what all are attacks happens, and what are the attack vectors are identified. So based on that, this location are chosen, that which all places best to deploy our IDS system. So if anyone want to add on this.
Okay. Yeah, some additional information from my side. So, uh, in real vehicle, we have other networks, right, other than CAN. Like we have Ethernet networks, we have CAN networks, Plexer, and so on. So, my understanding or my idea is like we have to prevent complete vehicle against intrusion. So we can distribute IDS over complete vehicle. So here we have some communication unit. So basically that is communicating to the some OEM backend or internet, right? So that will be reporting all the IDS events to the security backend, which can be then OEM can analyze all the events and then take the necessary actions against that. And other like Ethernet, CAN, and all networks are generally managed by gateway issues. Like all the traffic are managed by the gateway issues, what comes in and out. So we can implement the network-based IDS there, so which can monitor and detect network anomalies. So those kind of IDS can be implemented in gateway issues and other small issues. If we see some need like some specific functionalities or node, we have to detect some anomalies. Then maybe those we can implement specific functionality based ideas. Like I have to monitor some specific things. So then like we can distribute these ideas functionalities over the vehicle and then maybe different functionalities can be protected. Yeah, that's my understanding.
Um, so I have a question. So how does the design and functionality of an IDS in a vehicle differ from that of a traditional IDS used in IT networks?
Okay, yeah, if I may answer your question. So actually, the IT infrastructure or internet IDS first introduced and then later come to the automotive. So when it comes to the automotive, while implementing, certain things needs to be taken care because IT infrastructure they have a lot more resources and lot more time. But here, when implementing into the vehicle, you have to be sure with the resource constraint like automotive IDS must operate within the limited processing power memory for the issues. Another is real time requirements. So they need to be provide real time detection and ensure the vehicle safety. And automotive vehicles mostly use the embedded system. So IDS must be tailored to specific hardware and software architecture in the automotive systems. So this is little different than the IT infrastructure or internet IDS.
So you mentioned about in your slide number 6, you mentioned about machine learning. That there is machine learning which can help you detect. So what kind of machine learning algorithms or how does machine learning help in detecting the intrusion?
Okay, yeah, this is also interesting question. So if I may answer that, so machine learning anomaly detection. So we required machine learning because if you want to process huge number of data, in that case, to fix some certain rule will not be appropriate. So to analyze this huge data, you require machine learning algorithms to identify is there any problem in the data or identify certain patterns which actually by looking at the human or analysis by human which cannot be recognized. So using machine learning you will identify this pattern in the traffic, and if you identify there is certain deviation then it can raise a flag. So also like adaptive learning that can help with machine learning, so continuously improve this detection accuracy by learning the machine learning model itself.
So do you place these machine learning algorithms in the ECU or in the backend?
Mostly currently it's happen in backend because the current issues will not have that much amount of memory or processing power at the moment. So currently this is analyzed in the backend.
So another question on the IDS itself. Are there any readily available hardwares which come with IDS built in?
Okay. So maybe if I answer that, yeah, uh, in my experience, I think so. There are some hardwares which can work for IDS. So, for example, if we talk about CAN only, is we are seeing the example. So, I think there were some research or some development of the CAN modules which can detect some extra messages. Like we seen, there could be one type of attack, like we can insert extra packet or the new packets. So maybe those are also detected in the CAN chips. So yeah, those kind of hardware may be in the market. And another is for the Ethernet network. Like Ethernet uses Ethernet 5, and this 5 in this 5 module, I think the firewalls can be implemented in the hardware way. So yeah, of course, I think that would be maybe costly than normal Ethernet price, but there are possibilities to implement this, I think.
Okay, so maybe a question from my side, because at the end of the day, irrespective of what cybersecurity measure we implement, our end goal is to comply to the standard, right? 21434. So considering IDS as a cybersecurity control, what part of ISO 21434 standard will it fulfill? Like maybe when it comes to cybersecurity properties or methods, and also the different phases of cybersecurity activities, what would it fulfill in general?
Right. So if you consider IDS as a cybersecurity control, so if you have to choose IDS as one of the cybersecurity controls in your Tara, most importantly, from ISO 21434 perspective, uh, chapter 8 and chapter 13 will play a major role. Chapter 8 talks about continuous monitoring of cybersecurity incidents. This is where even post production you need to monitor all the activities that happens, the cybersecurity incidents that happens, and you need to prepare your incident response, so till your decommissioning happens. So this is where IDS definitely will help you to detect the security events, as Dharmesh previously mentioned. So there are SEVs and QSEVs. So based on that you can take necessary actions. Chapter 13 talks about I mean the post development, where operations and maintenance will come, production will come. So all these part will come. So this is closely related to the incident response or the continuous monitoring again. So these are the aspects that IDS will help you. Coming to the cybersecurity properties or the let's say the threat methodology that you use, there are different methods that you use. It again, IDS itself will depend on the type of attack. So what kind of attack are you trying to do? Based on that, you would choose your intrusion detection system as your cybersecurity control. Now, one key aspect that plays here is your cost and the availability, and this will be mainly considered during your architecture phase, be it the system architecture or the hardware, the software architecture, because many things can be detected by IDS, but do you want to detect is the question. So there will be some places where there will be denial of service attack possible, where you are losing some confidential information. However, putting an IDS over there might be not a cost effective solution for you. So this is where you will try to go with maybe some other solutions. And in some places where it is really critical, it is easy to implement. So this is where you would choose IDS. So it all depends on um, during the architecture, what kind of complexity, what kind of hardware support you would want to have. All these factors will weigh in, uh, before you choose IDS as a control, cybersecurity control measure.
So, since we talked a bit about machine learning, there are some popular terms in machine learning which are false positives, false negatives. So, this might occur in the IDS system as well. So, how does this false positives and false negative affect the performance of the automotive IDS systems?
Okay, yeah. So if I may answer, it's a interesting question. So regarding the false positive, so false positive, when we say it detected, IDS detected as false positive. For an example, it can lead to unnecessary alert and potentially disrupt the vehicle operations, reducing the user trust. So it will detect that unnecessary alert. It will just keep on sending, and user will be annoyed with this alert. So that will be false positive. When comes to false negative, where it is failing to detect the actual threat, can be compromised during the vehicle safety and security. So that is false negative. So IDS often basically are not chosen because of so many false positive or sometimes so many false negative. And the best way during the architect this IDS, it needs to be balanced out. Effectively choosing the IDS must be balanced sensitivity to minimize the false negative while keeping the false positive at the accepted level. So there will be some false positive, but you have to at certain level accept those false positive. So during the choosing the ideas while deploying also, these terms or false positive and false negative needs to keep in mind.
Yes. So that wraps our discussion on intrusion detection system in automotive cybersecurity. We hope you found this session informative and engaging. If you have any questions or thoughts, please leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next time. Till then, have a nice time.